All right, welcome. JNAP here. We're going to cover Game 1 of a quarterfinal match for the 2022 Online Championship Series playoffs between Bastion Winkelhaus, aka Zlorfik, and Mike Kessling, aka Troop1023. They are planning to play both games this afternoon. I cannot cover, or likely won't be able to cover both games, so we may have like a tag out, and Taco Bill may be tagging in to cover Game 2 or the remainder of Game 2, along with what I'm able to cover for Game 1. But it looks like both players are about ready to start. Tables up. Bastion is picking light side first. Hopefully everyone can hear everything that I'm saying okay and see the screen fine. Let me know if not. We could adjust. Game is yet to fire, and now it fires. All right, so welcome everybody. We'll be doing a sticker book token for the program during this program. We'll do some PSAs just for all the things going on in the game right now. Just never stops. There's always stuff going on, even as we kind of approach probably like the slowest time of the year, November, December, January, but there's still lots of high-level games and lots of cool things going on and things in process with a new set planned to come out next month. Player surveys going on. Donations program is about to kick off. Lots of good stuff. All right, so not a surprise that Bastion is playing Legend. That's really might be like his signature late deck lately. And we have Kessling on court, which is not a surprise that it's Kessling playing court, because I know he likes this deck, but that court is being played right now. So Kendall Hallman and Chris Hull, the community's current flag bearers for Court of the Vile Gangster, aka the objective you play in an opaque sleeve, because you don't ever flip it, and if you do, you might as well lose. So pretty standard start here from Bastion, doing the new Be With Me, when I say new, a couple sets ago, Walkling V and a Brave Resistance. Kessling doing the very standard court, at least modern day court start of Wipe, Jabba's Haven, and Battle Order for Strike combo. So Kessling gets out now Hutta. We have the cool AI from Bastion here on Jakku light side. I usually like using the new UI on Jemp for streaming because it looks cooler. But one of the hiccups it has is sometimes the AIs don't show through, and I know from a recent game that light side Jakku seems to be one of the issues. So I guess I'm happy in a way that we're doing the old UI so we don't have any confusion. But actually, it's a good plug. Yesterday I just had to pull up a replay, and the new UI is much better for navigating replays. You can bounce around, you can pick up the speed. You don't have to do the whole thing. So that's one of the, and you have access to all your replays. So we have, again, pretty standard stuff here. Bastion, of course, pulls Aim High, which is never a shield you're going to regret pulling against court. Jabba the Hutt V is out. Scum is out. This is Game 1. That's on the screen. Okay. Just saying that out loud to make sure I did it. Yeah, so the bottom right there. This is Game 1. Like I said, I can only go maybe to like 3:30. Depending, doubtful with these two players being, where they are right now. I don't think we'll have like a quick blowout, scoop Game 2 type thing. So in all likelihood, we'll have a, normal length Game 1 and then hour and a half, and then the Game 2 we'll have to pick up from there. So we have the Luke's Hut come out, which gives Kessling a free shield here. Yeah, time zone changes. We are in the mist right now where Europe has changed their clocks back an hour, and the US is doing it this weekend, which I had to really think slowly because, as a plug, one of the other top 8 matches between Crypto Azimowit from Poland and Gavin, who is on the west coast of the US, they're playing tonight at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, 5 a.m. CET time. If they did it one day later, it would be I don't know how that would all work. But Poland is now 8 hours ahead of the West Coast. But in a couple days, it'll be 9 hours again. Um, so the saddle comes out. When I went to Italy several years ago with my wife, we went at the end of October, and it was right in this time frame of made me realize, oh yeah, so Europe changes their clocks. It's usually a week or two different than the U.S. or sometimes it might have been 3 weeks at some point. But in another couple days, we'll all be on the normal. England's 5 hours ahead of the Eastern. Most of the rest of Europe is 6 hours ahead. Old man Luke comes out. Yeah, so that's interesting insight here. So I'm not um, the most insightful streamer you guys are going to have on here. Usually, there'll be others that are better. But neat to see from the chat that Drew says his good buddy, best friend Kessling went court with the expectation that Bastion is highly likely to play Legend. He played it at Euros, where I know he placed in the top eight, maybe top four, top eight, top four. And obviously, he's the 3 seed coming into this in the OCS. Had a very, very good year. Again, he is, as we see, Maz's Castle, Antechamber come out. So we can talk about this. So this matchup, so a few things. So yeah, Sebastian was the 3 seed, Kessling was the 6 seed. Bastion played a lot of Legend this year, was what I was going to say. This matchup it used to be a huge liability for Legend to choose the system to start with, and usually be better to do the site because it can flex. Because Darkside would just like bum rush the system and take it over because court space, especially with the jump start that I can get, is very strong. Threatens a drain too. Usually now Hutta just won't even come out then, but both players have gotten out. This is probably all their locations. Bastion, yeah, I don't think there's usually another location, right, for Legend, and Court has maybe another docking bay to come out. So I wonder if there'll be some tech here against Legend. You might think there'd be a couple disarms for Tank Ray. She is very strong in this. CCT got crushed by Legend at Worlds. Yeah, I played 2 matchups. I beat Logan's Legend, and then I lost to Drew's Legend with CCT. But yeah, the one against Drew was not close, and I think Logan. There were a couple things that at the end of the game we talked about that I'm sure he won't make the same mistake again. Like he played quite a mercenary very early to pull Chewy, and I grabbed it, and then U3P was able to stick around a lot, and that was very helpful to the matchup. So I wonder if we'll see something like that here. Court much more reliable space. Map is awful versus Legend according to Drew. Outrider Cup. All right, so Mike verifies his reserve deck with the now Hutta control phase check. Here comes the other docking bay. There was something I was going to say, and then of course I went off on one of my tangents, and I'll probably circle back to it at some point. Probably about Bastion, and Sebastian got by Ryan Serson in his top 16 match. Had a big blowout in game 1 at Shadow Collective versus Ryan's Yoda Muning farm, and made game 2 just not worth the effort. It was like a high 20s win. And Kessling, of course, played Drew. That was interesting. Again, interesting that Kessling picked Drew. How close they are, but I could also see some merits for why they picked each other, or why Kessling picked Drew, I should say. And then Drew won the first game as Watch Your Step, which was pretty cool to see by 1 differential. And then and Kessling won the second. Old Allies versus ISB, kind of like a blast from the past from like 2020, when that was a very oh no, I shouldn't say that because Old Allies went out of the meta for a little while. But ISB OA is like not my idea of fun. That's for certain. Very, very grindy matchup. So Shizor comes out. Looks like all the locations for this game are already on the table. Kessling's blown through the soft 12 threshold here. 15 cards in hand. He's only activating 11, which is interesting, right? Because this is all that court is... Oh, they need the passenger deck, so it's not all the activation, duh. Has someone corrected me in the chat on that yet? Usually there's a passenger deck or a bridge, one or the other. Either the passenger deck with Trilic Advisor V, a couple copies of that, or what is it? Which bridge? Blockade Flagship Bridge with a bunch of accelerates. Sebastian's going to put down General Leia with a Brave Resistance. Let's see which resistance character he pulls out. Finn was top deck to last turn's court ping. Yeah, I would love to have a co-host, except I always screw that up, especially in my office here. There's like a dead zone in my house, which I'm actually in the process of remediating and hardwiring my internet. so that it's not on the Wi-Fi. Because no matter what I've tried to do from a Wi-Fi perspective, it has not solved it. And that's why a couple months ago I tried to do a holo theater, I think, with Kessling, and it blew up, and I felt really bad because I think something when I'm streaming and hosting, my Wi-Fi just bails. Um, but streaming or doing video calls seem to be fine. So hopefully in another couple weeks, I will be more able to handle more streaming. Yeah, I would think a Grimtosh Monarch, which I think a light probably more likely to play Grimtosh nowadays than Dark is to play Monarch. But I think in match play, my 2 cents is match play, high level opponents. I really like those cards because you really can get handcuffed if your opponent just draws a ton and you can't really do anything about it. And a lot of good players will kind of sniff out when that makes sense to do that and when the risk is worth it. So that's where you kind of have a Grimtosh Monarch. It can be huge. All right, so Drew predicting the future right here, or yeah, probably. So Drew says stack the pit, so he doesn't have to deal with the court pings. BB-8 goes there first. Projection of Skywalker is going to take the audience chamber ping or drain down to 1 if Mike is so inclined to pay 3 at this point. With activating only 11, probably not, but probably worth the action there. Sebastian just basically dumped BB-8, maybe just to manage his hand a little bit. Puts him down for 2, and then is just going to go to his draw phase. Yeah, a good comment there, Kieran. Like I feel like it's a trap. Looping it's a trap with Legend can be really frustrating, and the only way to really deal with it is that they're still coming through. Or there's the Vader's Anger V, but Court's not going to be playing Vader. Oh, I see. It looks like we got a little my scroll here. Sorry, everyone. Looks like the scroll's on top of the screen. Let me fix that. Okay, that should be a little better, or maybe it's just what I'm seeing. Okay. Force projection getting cycled here by Bastion. He played where you're looking for me to upload 3PO, so 3PO is going to be coming out soon. Maybe Bastion was using the BB-8 to try to bait out a restraining bolt. That's an interesting decision when you're playing against Legend. If you're packing the bolt, if you want to put that on BB-8 or 3PO, because 3PO it's just crucial to this matchup. One second, guys. Sorry. All right. So, Kessling does the now how to verify. Something special planned for them. V, which is another grabber, which will probably be helpful against Legend with lots of pesky interrupts. It might even make sense to use on Edge Trap as we were discussing, because being a lost interrupt, but of course it could be cycled and could be really annoying. But then of course Bastion has been known to play like could be worse from time to time. Looks like yeah, everyone go fill out the survey that James is linking to in the chat. It closes in 3 days, and the powers that be. We're going to be evaluating them, especially the COVID policy responses. There is going to be an announcement on the COVID policy for the San Diego Open that is going to be announced on November 15th, which is about, 9-10 weeks out from the major. All right, Kessling's going to play Force Push V to get something he's looking for. Since he did the verify control phase, he presumably is looking for something or knows what he might be looking for is definitely in there. Yeah, handle one off the top. 15 cards, a big hand. Oh, Kendall's here. Hey, Kendall, court's on. Troop is Mike Kessling, one of the two American players who went to Euros. And Drelak, you probably met him there or talked with him. uh, that actually reminds me, I can make a pseudo announcement here. I have two boxes right now of prize support, one for the UK and one for the EU. A lot of that is OCS perfect attendance boxes for European players. I'm going to be sending them to Kevin Yop and Chris Menzel, respectively. I would think at the latest, those things will get distributed at the Raltier Regional, which is scheduled for February. Not sure the exact date. Sometime in February that Chris Menzel is organizing. As we see, a Space Cruiser come out with Django and Proxima. It's interesting. Django is usually good to have on the ground for like threat of Hear Me Baby or adding. Well, he's not going to add a Destiny against Ray. So actually, that makes sense. Though. Yeah, so Django's text is not going to be good against Jedi Ray, given Be With Me, because characters cannot add capital Destinies. So yeah, might as well put him up there. I'm not going to add one to maneuver like he typically does, because it's a capital starship. But he'll add two. Proxima's up there, so Kessling can start cycling for aliens. Yeah, Bastion's activating a ton here. Well, he has a ton in his force pile, put it that way. He's got 23. Alright, so General Leia goes down. Or no, she gets pulled with Brave Resistance. No, I take that back. He does both. Puts General Leia down, that's why I was confused. Puts General Leia down and brings her back up. Alright, so here we go. Bastion's going with the Resistance Transport. Going to download someone he knows is in there, probably Holdo. Yep, there's Vice Admiral Holdo. And we'll see what happens here. So remember, Django's going to be forfeit +2 because of the court objective. Proxima 6. So I don't know if Bastion's plan is to, completely kick out Kessling from space or just really set him back. There's the barrier. So Kessling held the barrier back for Falcon and Poe. Does Bastion have a canceller? No sense alter shield out from Kessling. Legend can go either way on senses. Kind of tricky because there might be a gap sometime. Probably not. You're probably either always going to have Luke or Rey out. So you should always either have a 6 or 7 ability out to get your senses through. Before Be With Me, it would not be a great idea to have senses because there's definitely a possibility that you would have a gap there. No grab on the barrier. Yeah, that's a good question, Kieran. I wonder what Bastion's thinking in terms of what to grab. I would think Mike's probably holding the grab for it could be worse or it's a trap. He's got 2 though. Or handle, which one's in the lost pile. Escape pod combo is not really going to be relevant here. Solo and 3PO are also on the Falcon, so 3PO cannot be bolted. BB-8 is still holding down the pit there. And Bastion's going to eat a 3rd ping to Court. He's going to play the It Could Be Worse. Let's see if Mike grabs that. Court? Yeah, it's not like Court usually has big drains because he usually just wants to win by battling, maybe taking over sites or locations, maybe for the, if at some point But of course, Bastion is not going to play that it could be worse if he's, going to be also really bummed about it getting grabbed. He fully realizes that it's going to be possibly grabbed. So somewhat of a bait there, but also somewhat of a, logical play. And so Kessling puts it on something special planned for them. And Bastion's going to draw up here. So he's just going to leave. That's going to be, 2 Battle Destiny. Because Poe. He also is going to be threatening a Holdo Bomb, which would add a total of 7 to Battle Destiny. He also is threatening a spin of a 6, because this is maneuver 6 with solo on it. Blaster Man. I haven't heard that phrase before, Timo. Jodo. Reminds me of one of the earlier iterations of Shadow Collective. Yodad would play it with like Jodo Cast Superstar, and you just do all this fun stuff like Human Shield and Hidden Weapons and Any Methods Necessary V, all wrapped up. Maybe all wrapped up's in there. Lots of fun capturing stuff. That was a fun deck. I'm sure Yodad had some. He fine-tuned that over time. If you're not kind of familiar with all the different things that the cards do, it definitely could be potent. Oh, really? Crazy Carl played it against it today. All right, so Aura is going to get taken into hand from the Proxima. The usual now how to verify happened. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. So James just plugged the subscription program. Exciting news for that. We actually have it already drafted. I think David Woods drafted it. So we just got to wait a little time until we get to December for the 2023 Twitch subscription program. We're going to do another foil for any submission, whether it's 1 month or your 48th month. You'll get the foil if you do a submission within 2023. There's also going to be a special AI for milestones in 2023. I think it might be the 24 range. Or, probably should just be like every 12 months people get it. I think is how to do it. Because now we just have this interesting thing where people just keep adding more and more months. So I don't want to make something like a 48-month thing that, some people will get there, but definitely want those AIs to be accessible, lest they become in need of a replacement with any potential AIs. So Woof comes out, Ellison Hinther comes out. Yeah, Kieran, this is relatively new. Settings, background is how you change the background. So we could do Hyperroot, go to space. And Bosk and Bus, which is a card that makes a lot of sense against old allies or Legend. It adds a Destiny to total power or attrition. Kessling kind of bringing it here. We'll see what any tricks that Bastion may have. Both players are on full hands. 26. Kessling has, 15, 24? Bastion's got 22. Yeah, so they're pretty even on life, so now it's going to be kind of duking it out for board control here. Oh, you're welcome, Harpster. How's everything going? Yeah, Endor League had a pretty good year. Sounded like you weren't able to make it to too many events, but hopefully soon. A couple more. People ever play Marek Steel in court? That's a good point. I wonder if, Kendall, have you ever considered that? Any other court players? Probably, because he wouldn't suspend Scum, right? As long as he's piloting any of the ships that are in there. Why would he destroy Scum, Timo, if he's a independent starship pilot? For the same reason that, like, Darth Maul works. All right, so we have battle here. Kessling gets back the Force Push V and Prepared Defenses, which are his entire loss pile. All right, so Kessling's going to do the attrition with Bosk and Bus. Bastion obviously is not placing Luke out of play. Just going to reduce the power a little bit. good amount of forfeit up here. He's got Django, who probably is just soaking up, planning to have him soak up like 8. And we'll see any tricks here in terms of spins or what else. What else can happen? We can't do any redraws. We can't do the force projection because Legend's still on the 0 side. Solo, what's in the lost pile? So we had Handle and obviously the starting interrupt. And what was the other interrupt that Bastion played? Or the other card he lost, I should say. Finn. It was Finn. Yeah, court space is pretty cool, and it's like different than like Deal or like ISB sometimes, where they just like, or even ROP sometimes, where they stack like a Star Destroyer, because that plays into Mr. Lieutenant Tarn Myson, and he can kind of be a way to get cut through a lot of forfeit. Talion Blue 1, the A-Wing from episode 7. That card made a little bit of sense a little while ago. Stuff like Court ISB, Deal, which would get the bonus, or ROPS. But there's just too many good characters now for both sides. So preventing forfeit from being increased in space, doesn't do a ton. I think at some point code clearance was more popular. All right, so Bastion takes card off Sand. He takes the Handle, myself off of it. Yeah, that's the weird thing about Court. Like, its space is strong, but like most of its ships can only handle 1 pilot. So it's like natural power doesn't get up too high, and usually does what? I mean, I barely have ever played Court, but like Dengar and Punishing 1 sometimes goes in and out, which is helpful to get rid of immunity. Stinger sometimes with Guri. Bastion is gonna swing here, pay the force for first strike. Kessling drew 5 for Battle Destiny. So he spins it, so Woof will not. Well, Woof would not subtract anyway because the Sand card was plucked. 6 coming in here, and now Bastion is going to be able to draw the second because the substitution gets around Sand. We'll see what he draws for the second one. And we'll see what else happens. Good old My Kinda Scum. I played that in the Premiere to Reflections 2 retro event number 5. I like that deck. There's just so much retrieval. And Aim High and Secret Plans are not always on the table in that format the way they are in Open. All right, Sebastian draws a 1, so that's a bummer. So he's still just going to, I guess, get rid of Django. Oh, no. What's going on? Oh, there's the Destiny to Attrition. So that's unfortunate for Bastion. That spin really didn't do a ton for him. I mean, he's breaking the immunity, but which he might, or he wouldn't have done otherwise, right? He would have just drawn a 1, and that would have been really bad. So the spin, helps in that. At least he's getting rid of something. But now Django goes. Kessling's going to attempt to upload Boba Fett, which works. So he gets Broken Fett, which, Bastion still has a Sand card, so that's good. But presumably Mike wants to try to burn through those. All right, so Mike's going to go to the back end of his turn 4 here. What other stuff can we plug while we're kind of winding down this turn? So the donations program starts in about 11 days. Just want to emphasize, please do not fill out those Google forms yet. There are 2 people that did. I pinged one of them. I'll ping the other one. As was mentioned in that stream, that there's some incentives in the donations program that are going to be first come, first serve. So we announced that 10 a.m. Eastern, the program will open on November 15th. Any submissions before then, I'm going to, ask you to resubmit when I realize it. It might not be immediately, so you might lose your spot in line, so to speak. So please follow the rules there so that the things that we have a limited amount of kind of go in queue. Kessling wipes here. He's got 1 force save. Bastion 22 down, only 4 in his reserve. So lines of play here. I wonder if, and this was a line I remember Connor and I discussed stubbly a couple years ago in the OCS. I think when he was playing against Drew, maybe. I think that's when he knocked out Drew, actually, if I'm remembering things right. I don't know, my brain's not working as well these days, but The line for Legends sometimes versus Court is you just bail on space. Either you totally bail on it or you get them to kind of commit and then you just keep running away. Because like this wouldn't be bad now. Like let's say Sebastian's going to stack the pit and maybe run away in space. And if he gets like Ray and Rose going here, he can retrieve to a turn, he pings, he drains, he can maybe handle, maybe use the lightsaber to add to a drain. You know, if he's giving up this drain to two at Jakku, not a huge deal as long as he's satisfying battle plan, satisfying coward, and he's just gonna pull ahead in kind of the damage race. And then if he stacks this hard enough that Kessling has a hard time battling into it, Kessling can't kind of take advantage of the scum retrieval then. Also, sometimes this matchup, you end up getting like a caravan of characters that just keep moving back and forth between the Carcoon and the audience chambers. Out comes Chewie for just 2 force as protector. Hey, welcome back, Dutch boy. Played until Death Star 2. Hey, that's a good opportunity to plug the Retro League, which is like older formats. We just wrapped up that for the year for 2022. We did 5 events spanning a couple different time frames. We're definitely gonna do that again for 2023. We might tweak. We're going to tweak it by a little bit just based on how people's feedback is. So definitely encourage you, Dutch boy, to take advantage of GEMP. You can play online for free, any format. And keep an eye out for all social media from the PC on the league next year. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, Pittsburgh also has an active group. They have their own league, about 8-10 guys. They have a spot in the Champions League. Justin Carulli is going to be representing Pittsburgh League, and that's going to be kicking off in a couple weeks. All right, Anakin goes down. See, this is why I like streaming, because there's all these cool things that just trigger, like, hey, remember this, or keep in mind this. Like Anakin, for example, this is an updated image, and this is this on foil paper. I actually have a bunch of these already. I had Scott print out like a first wave. So you get a foil view slip of this, so you fill out the survey and you provide your email, and we'll ship it to you in the mail, ideally with other stuff that you may have earned for other various events. But this is one of the updated images, because Christian Knutson, our graphics lead, just been doing awesome work, giving some of these older V cards like a tune-up, making them look a little better. I think that purple looks really good on the foil, and the lightsaber, of course. And Anakin's just in so many decks, so we wanted to have a card. And there have been some other... He's been awarded a couple different times as foils and AIs, but I think just given that he fits in so many different light side decks, be a good, useful card. Yeah. Kendall plugging, Corellia Regionals, the last regionals of 2022. No matter where you are in the world, if you want to participate in the 2022 regional circuit and potentially get exclusive foil slips like the I think it's the Grogu, the Grogu slip, as Bastion pops Walkling here, he runs away in space like we talked about. Not the biggest stack here at the Pit of Carcoon, but something he's probably got. I mean, not it's a trap because he's only got 2 saved, but. Corellia Regionals in Columbus. Head out to that. Kendall's organizing it. I think there was a rumor. I don't know if that was a joke or not. If Hayes is going up from Tennessee, Bastion's going to eat 2 to the drain there. Sorry about the mess combo and General Leia. Off the top. Whoa, Qui-Gon Jinn with lightsaber. From Theed? That's a good prize. So that pocket's pretty neat with the Nalhutta region, led by Brian Fred out of Indianapolis, and Corellia region, which is Ohio and Western PA, and then there's also the Pittsburgh League in Western PA. So there's 3 leagues there that people can presumably go to all of them, with the winner being this year Dan Tartaglione won the Corellia League, moving back from California to Pittsburgh. Dan, Iron Man in a lot of ways, in terms of streaming, and this year traveling to events. He went down to Norfolk for Yavin 4 weekend. He went to Coruscant Regionals, played in a bunch of Corellia, Pittsburgh events, went to a couple majors. All right, so here comes the Bolt from Kessling. But yeah, so Dan will be representing Corellia in the Champions League. All right, so BB-8's not going to ping anymore. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I should have noticed that. Yeah, so 3PO was punted to that was probably a more difficult decision than I emphasized. So sorry about that. Yeah, that's kind of big. So now Bastion's not cycling stuff. lost it to the attrition in that big battle in order to keep his other stuff. Balatik is pretty good here against the Antechamber, since normally it's a force drain -1, but Bala prevents that. Prevents opponent while opponent's battleground. Opponent may not cancel or reduce your force drains here, so that works for everything. So Kessling's going to put Aura and Bala there to threaten his drain on the ground. Yeah, Ghana, Gimort, who will cancel this pit drain, which is scheduled to be 2, but now, of course, Kessling would elect to rather lose 1 force than 2 force using Ghana's text. Well, you lose 1 force to cancel force drain at an adjacent site. So both players getting some more cards on the table here. Wonder if will Kessling chase in space? I don't know. There's a drain of 1 here. Is it even worth spending the force, or is it better just to kind of camp out here and keep pushing this drain of 2 through? At least force Bastion to reinforce his ships before he tries to contest it, or is EPP Mara comes down? Yeah, these remastered images on Jump are so good. They're so much more crisp. And if anyone's not familiar, there's a whole remaster project. It's under the announcements forum, but like, this looks a lot better than, say, this is one of the remastered. I think Set 1's been remastered, but like, I don't know. I'm trying to find a good example of one that hasn't been remastered yet. I think Luke might be one. I don't think Set 10's been done yet. It's a little just fuzzier, not quite as sharp. Alright, so he's got Mara, Aura, and Bala. Bastion's going to play all wings. Kessling does not grab. Bastion's just going to cycle it. If you're Kessling here, you're probably holding that. It's interesting Bastion doesn't have Rose or Jedi Ray out yet. Obviously, he wants to get them out at some point to get his retrieval going, and then Legend and then if the opening allows, then Legend can start battling in and getting General Layer retrieval. It can really steamroll. Sounds like a band. Or Mara, Aura, and Bala. Yeah, that's a Jedi lightsaber V on Leia. Sorry if anyone doesn't realize that. Bolt on BB-8. On Resistance Transport, we have Holdo. On the Falcon, we have Anakin, Padawan Learner, and Solo. Be With Me is over here. Projection of Skywalkers on the AC, just in case there's anything. It Could Be Worse was grabbed. And the card sitting on sand is Where You're Looking For Me, which might be helpful for Bastion because he could retrieve 3PO that way. Retrieve 3PO. Kessling, oh no, take that back. He would not do that because Kessling smartly pulled Code Clearance Shield. So if Bastion were to use Where You're Looking For Me to retrieve 3PO, he would not get any more retrieval the rest of the game from stuff like Rose, Jedi Ray, General Leia, etc. Alright, Kessling's going to lose Probot from hand to the drain. And Bastion now uses his once per game pull, which he has not done yet. Pretty good patience. And now Ray's going to come down to this antechamber. Let's see what other tricks Bastion has in store. He's got 5-4 saved. Let's see, what are the other ground forces? So Chewie's over there, Anakin's in space. Maybe like an EPP Ahsoka. Yeah, Ray is like a tank in this deck. Who else are we missing? Ray's in a lost pile. I have to think with Legend, just with some of the character restrictions, when it lost the Jedi a couple of years ago probably at this point, where it can only do 1 Jedi at a time. And Be With Me works around that. So they have the battle. General Leia kicks in, presumably. Now Bastion's going to punt Luke, which is then so it does a bunch of things, obviously. The one thing is now Hutta Drain is going to be effectively 2 damage. because he's got 2 resistance characters here. But this will be interesting. He's down 7 power, but he's going to be adding 1 to each destiny. Like I said, oh wait, he hasn't placed him out of play yet. Let's see. I would think he had. I mean, if he has like a blaster deflection, that's only 1 of the weapons, and essentially he has like 2 lightsabers there. Even better, really. 2 forfeit 0 weapons and 1 that adds 1 on top of 2 destiny. So. Wow, he didn't place Luke out of play. All right, well, I will not question Bastion, but that's interesting. I would think that he would have there, right? All right, so he swings at Aura, hits her, adding 1 to each destiny, so a total of 8. Okay, sorry, I just missed the chat for a second there. Extra damage in space, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Both a Bounty Hunter is in hand, but yeah, he won't do anything because of race, or because of Be With Me. Good job managing where he puts the personas. Yeah, Stunning Leader would have been interesting. Bastion has to have quite a mercenary V in this deck to cancel it. It's just a matter of if he has it in his hand or not. Female Interrupt only works defending battles, right? Alright, so he's going to solo the Sorry About the Mess. Let's see if Kessling has the Canceller, which Court often does. Either does the imbalance combo or ceasefire sometimes. Nope, does not have it. Alright, so Aura goes away. Now maybe he just has a blaster deflection. He'll be okay. He's going to Luke the 2 power, right? So this, yeah, see, just like that. Legends go, oh, no blaster deflection. Interesting. But he has the handle to cancel, right? That's why people are mentioning the handle, right? Not necessarily to add to the drain or to make a power destiny immune to attrition, but to do this. Yeah, sorry guys. Pass or fear, flip. He has female up to hand. Yeah, thanks, Kieran. Yep. Alright, so Ray, not hit. Yeah, there goes the power reduction. Battle Destiny of 6 for Bastion, which was probably tracked when he cycled it, right? And that's a 2, from which Bastion will be immune. That's interesting. What would happen if Kessling just drew a 5 there? Ray just dies and Bastion lives with it, or does he have any tricks? Like maybe they're tracking us. He can't like redraw. He can't force projection because he's still on the 0 side. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see the counterbeak. I haven't studied the list. I wonder if Bastion runs a Clash. He probably has it's a trap. So yes, let's see. He's got 5 saved. He's gonna need at least 4 to play, and it's a trap. So he's down to 4. The question is, what if he doesn't have it? Does he bluff? Yeah, I'm wondering what Kessling's grabber shield, what he's thinking for that. I probably would have, but I'm not also very. I should be more refreshed on like what all would Bastion possibly be playing. Maybe Kessling is saving for the It's a Trap because he knows if Bastion kind of gets that looping, but it's tough to loop it when 3PO's dead. He could maybe do something with like the objective once he flips to try to set that up so he can kind of keep it coming. So Mara gets retrieved with no escape, and out comes Velkin. Yeah, so clearly, obviously, Kessling's well aware that Boba is not going to be super duper effective here. I mean, he's freaking 7 power rather, but he's not going to get around the Be With Me or the Sand. But now, yeah, so my bet is that Bastion has an Ninja Trap here, because right now, he's still only power 13, which, and we'll see what tricks. All right, the Kessling not for the drain. Stupid card. He did. Okay, yeah, sorry guys. I'm juggling a few things today. Aura and Gick combo. Down comes Finn. You would think if Finn comes down, he doesn't have It's a Trap, but maybe he's trying to bait a Gick or something like that. So the Finn react goes through. Yeah, that's a good point, Kendall. He might be able to play the interrupt, the adder, as many people call it. And there's the Stunning Leader. Stunning Leader's his own battle after he baited the flip. Spicy. And Bastion has the Quite a Mercenary to cancel it. Alright, so this will be interesting. So now presumably Ray's going to take out Mara, take out somebody else with attrition. Maybe everybody, if he's got the adder. He can play Force Projection. He's got 3 Force, so he's got 3 interrupts he can use here. And there's an It's a Trap. Might be a situation where Kessling ends up just sacrificing everybody just to avoid a counter beat, because we saw the one Gix in the use pile. We'll see. This will be interesting. Turn 6 here. Ray has to swing at Velkin. Okay, thank you, Drew. Oh, Karen. Alright, so Velkin's 4/0. Under attack from Bastion. Usually a Raltier Ops tech, which Kessling has played Rops before, right? I know he's played a lot of Shadow Collective, but I think I think he did Rops not so long ago. Maybe bring him before me. I'm not sure. One of the new allies team members can correct me of how often or not often that Kessling has done Rops. Of course, both decks are submitted before Game 1 starts, so whatever happens here, players can adjust 1 or 60 cards in their decks that they were planning to play. To Bastion Projection before Mike plays everything. I don't know, man. Mike's played a lot of old allies in Shadow Collective and Yoda Communing. And there's I feel like he's done he has 2 dark and 2 light that he has played a lot lately. Alright, so battle ends up a tie. Bastion drew a 6 effectively. Kessling drew a 5. So now here's Kessling's an interesting situation. He's probably going to lose Velkin, Mara, and Bala. And because he doesn't want to just lose and leave Bala by himself. If he loses Mara, then Bala can be battled. Finn just goes. Court plays 4 Lam non-V. Yeah. Bala takes forfeit as 5. Yeah. He does not get a boost. Good against quite a quiet mining colony, which Bastion has played more than most people, I would say. All right. Ooh, so Kessling does not lose Mara, which may be just normal, or it may be he's holding a Gick and is not afraid of the counterbeat. Bastion has 6 cards in hand. He doesn't have a ton, but it's possible there's a risk of overflow here with a counterbeat. So this will be an interesting turn here. Bastion has what? So 1 through the drain because Gon is going to cancel it. 1 ping, 1 drain, retrieve with Ray. So that's what, 4 card swing there, effectively. I don't know. Legend has a lot of weapons tech. We didn't even see a blaster deflection yet, right? He's got to be playing at least 1 of them, maybe 2. wipe for force. Bastion's going to pick 2 cards here. Let's see which one that Kessling lets him retrieve. PSAs, I know that James does an awesome job doing that stuff all on media, but definitely PC has an Instagram, which is pretty cool. I don't think a lot of people know about it, and James does a great job managing that. So that I'm 99.9% sure it's at SWCCG, not SWCCG PC. We have a bunch of media handles, and sometimes they're not all exactly the same. So check out the Instagram, instagram.com/ I can verify that real quick. Sorry about the mess is played by Ray against Mara. Yeah, our Instagram is SWCCG. So if you're on Instagram, give the PC a follow. So the Be With Me only adds 1 to Battle Destiny during battle. So she's not going to get the bonus there. She draws a 3 and a 5. The Quam, which of course he knew that was there. So, bye-bye Mara Jade. She is no longer holding the site, despite what Kendall said. So this is going to be drained at 2. And now Mike's going to probably need a big turn here to not let Bastion really kind of entrench himself on these locations and start setting up his retrieval engine. I wonder if Design is considered an actual canceller to Restraining Bolt. It's an interesting card that came out in Premiere, and it's never had like a straight bullet that just cancels it, right? Caller, but no one's going to run Caller. Bastion's going to do the peak. Yeah, that's interesting. The Caller V, have it cancel Bolt and do something else that makes it actually not a dead card. Oh, now I remember the one thing I was going to say like 40 minutes ago. Bastion's one of 2 people who've made the OCS all 5 years. Him and Joe. Joe got knocked out last round by Taco Bell. But Bastion, of course, won it in 2019. In between Desai's 2 OCS wins in 18 and 20. MHT won year 4, which was last year. And this is year 5. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Alright, so Bastion kind of re-ups his hand to 12. He's got 12 cards face down. Mike is at 17 and 7, so 24. So both players exactly on 24. Oh yeah, and Bastion is one of the 5 people with perfect attendance for all 5 years. So and so there's some months where he takes it down to the wire and he's getting his last couple games in the very end of the month. But all right, so Jedi Lev toss from hand. Now that co-clearance has been out for a while, Rebel Leadership toss from hand. Bastion obviously managing, both players managing, given that this is differential match play. You want as many cards face down at the end of the game as possible. Kessling takes Cad Bane in hand, which is pretty helpful against Ray, but of course Bastion presumably still has the force projection, right, to draw and subtract from Total Battle Destiny, which could potentially be a way to keep Ray on the table. Be a good PSA too that some people are not familiar that a couple months ago Joe Olson kind of led up an effort to do I forget his exact phrase. It's basically power rankings in SWCCG. There's obviously some subjectivity to it, but kind of had a panel of about 20 people. And that was like at the very end of July, so he's probably due for a refresh. I think he's going to do it after the OCS finishes. So that OCS, Euros, Worlds, any other events in between will be accounted for since the last update. Last time, I think Joe edged out Bastion very narrowly. I think Desai was third, MHD was fourth. And then once you get to fifth, I think that was like kind of a clear top four. It was interesting. We had people like Emil and Johnny Chu and Kevin Shannon, that obviously excellent players, but their level of activity wasn't super high at that point. I ranked all three of them in my top 25. Not everyone did, because there's some subjectivity to that, but that should be coming out once OCS finishes, which could be about another month. We have to finish the quarterfinals here, and then the finals, or quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. All right, so Cad and Django. So this will be interesting. Bastion can probably play into Trap here if he's really worried. Django won't add a Destiny because Be With Me. Cad can cancel her immunity, but then he's got to draw like Kessling's got to draw high and make it so that and also needs Bastion to draw low to get it through. There might be hidden weapons here. We'll see. No hidden weapon. Well, not necessarily. I'm not sure you play that first. You definitely want to get rid of her immunity first, but no. If like Cad were to hypothetically get like sorry about the mess, then Django doesn't get a Destiny at all. So Bastion targets Django. Draws hit 6, quite mercenary. Django's going to be hit, forfeit 0. It's a trap is drawn. Django definitely hit. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the other way. So yeah, I'm blabbing about, Cad canceling Destiny and force projection, but that would be another way. Oh no, that wouldn't matter. That wouldn't. Yeah, that's the whole point of Cad, is he gets around the female interrupt, right? Cancels the immunity. Rebel CPA. That wouldn't be helpful here to Bastion. Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing sometimes when your game text getting canceled versus immunity getting canceled. The immunity's canceled, it's canceled from all like different sources. Whereas alright, so Bastion's gonna cycle all wings in the middle of the battle here, pay the force for first strike. And then, so I was going to do PSAs. So the Cryptofist versus Gavin matchups tonight at midnight Eastern. The other, so of the top 8, so Taco Bell gets past Joe. This is going to be one of the other ones here, Bastion and Kessling. Crypto versus Gavin late tonight, my time. Super early Eastern time. Here comes the Force Projection versus the Destiny 3 P59, and that's probably going to be not too difficult for Bastion to get to. And then the fourth quarterfinal matchup is going to be Justin Desai versus Greg Shaw. That still has to be scheduled. They both played at Worlds in the main event, the Swiss portion. They played games back to back, and I think back to back. Games 5 and 6, I think it was, maybe 6 and 7. They split. Both made top 8, obviously. All right, so this attempt from Kessling is not fruitful at all, and Ray's not going anywhere. And both of Kessling's characters are gone. So someone made a comment of like, outcome's going to come down to game 2. I don't know. As of now, this looks pretty good for Bastion to win by more than 10, right? Kessling might still have some tricks. Maybe he gets it down to 8 to 10. But given that was just Kessling's turn, he's going to move over here. So he's going to be getting 3 damage through here. Will out Bastion. I gotta wonder when Rose is coming out. Maybe Rose will probably go to the pit pretty soon. He's got to have Rose in 8-card hand at this point. That space battle popping 3PO was pretty big. I'm sure that was an easy decision, and unfortunately I was a little distracted as that was happening, but that kind of has a ripple effect for the rest of the game. Yeah, Life Force Bastion has 13 down, 8 in hand, so 21, and Kessling has 18 down, 7 in hand. So it's 25 to 21. So Kessling actually has more Life Force, but board state seems to favor Kessling a little bit. Yeah, he definitely did. He used No Escape and Jabba's Haven. That'd probably be a neat little stuff like that, like minor GAMP enhancements. Like if you click on this, could it tell you whether it was burned or not? But I have no idea what goes into coding that. But alright, so Bastion's gonna kick off his turn 7 here. Yeah, that's a good point. If that's a game aid, James, and if it would be kind of out of order to do. That's a good question. So maybe in that case, it's intentionally not disclosed on GEMP. We got VHS tapes. Not a fan of the Starfield background. We could switch back. We had that before. I just switched kind of to show it off. Yeah, CAD was picked up a turn or two ago by Proxima. Right, Bastion's going to use the legend objective reordering during his control phase. Or maybe he did it during activate phase. Now he's in his control phase. He's going to drain for 2 here. My opinion is if CAD was one of the 6 deck boxes, I think he would be the laggard. I think we'd be stuck with lots of CADs, personally. But that would kind of jive with a lot of Kendall's contrarian takes. Like, I like C-slips. C-slips are good. Right, Kendall? Alright, Bastion's going to use raise text here as Guri was tossed from hand. Bastion's going to make his choice here, and then Kessling has to decide. Yeah, Joker King plays the There'll Be Hell to Pay, old school. Alright, so Bastion gets back Jedi Lev V, and Kessling places a Force Projectile play. Even though it can only be played once per game, it's a slightly higher destiny. Thank you, Lenny, for subscribing. 20 months. Make sure you submit your proof of that to marketing@starwarscg.org, and you get Twitch subscription swag, foils, and poker chips. Reminder to everybody to do that. I can't. There's not an easy way for us to just know that, and even if we did, we don't necessarily have everyone's address. So that's why we ask you to proactively reach out. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Why don't you paste that link again, James, if you have it handy? The Twitch subscription. It's on the website. If you just go to starwarscg.org, search Twitch subscription, probably in the news box, it'll come up. Also, all right. Screaming Lando comes out. Pilot the Falcon. He'll add a destiny. Thank you, James. Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, that's going to actually be refreshed for 2023. There's going to be a new exclusive milestone Twitch AI. This year it was the Yoda's Hut AI, or Yoda's Hut V AI. And we did communing as like the 1 month or any month subscription, we should call it. Next year, I should know. Maybe I can tease that, because I know David drafted it. Let's see here, as I'll try to keep an eye on the game as I try to look this up real quick. Lando and Bastion just passes the end of the turn, pays the maintenance, 2 saved. Actually, I think David actually first suggested BB9E, and I was like, that's probably not a good one to do. kind of a controversial. We were using him for a tournament report too. Tournament report writing incentive. Yeah, let's see. Maybe I can tease it. Break some news here. Oh, we should do sticker book token. Sticker book token. Let's do Ghana Gmort. Ghana Gmort. So send your sticker book. Send that in the body of your email to holotheater@starwarsccg.org. Ghana Gmort is the token. Let's see. Ooh, okay, yeah, this is a good one. So we're probably, no guarantees, but probably gonna do Revenge of the Sith, the epic event for Darkseid, as the anytime submission. So whether you're submitting your first month or your 48th month in the 2023 calendar year, you'll get that foil slip. And that's a good one because you only play one of that. So the only people that want more than one of that are like Brian Fred, but most people, you get your one, you put it in your deck, shiny, put it at the start. All right, so Kessling does the verify here, sees what's in his reserve. Thank you for subscribing VHS tapes. Yep, leadership. Legend still has some of it. We're going back and forth. That's Kendall. Okay. All right, both players have about 20 minutes left on their timer. A couple more minutes for Kessling. Let's see. Do I get the stuff mentioned for the 20 plus subscription? If you never got any of this stuff, do you mean like Catwall? Do you mean like you never submitted it, or like we forgot to send it to you? I never got anything now, right? You guys, did I get the stuff mentioned? But yeah, like I just had like Mike Pistone just sent me a 12 month, and I looked at my spreadsheet and I was like, hey, you haven't. I don't have any of your 1, 3, 6 months. Just. Usually a lot of people submit like 1 month. It's like, I'm not going to send one slip. I'll wait till you got to get a few more months just to try to save some money on shipping. But as Zuckus and Miss Sunner and Ponda Baba V come down. So it looks like Kessling's looking to tussle here in space. But, oh yeah, if you never submitted it, submit it. You get your, maybe 24 months would be good. Actually, Kieran, do that like ASAP because I'm about to send out a box to Menzel for the Ralto Regional. And just given the cost of shipping, right, it's best to try to consolidate as many items for European players as possible so they can all be dispatched together and then given out at in-person events. So I'm about to send it out in like the next day or two. So please, just send me an email, marketing at, just screenshot your Twitch months. We have the battle here, by the way. Lando's text is going to kick in. He's going to retrieve a force and add it to, is he piloting? Yeah, he retrieves a 4. So it's Anakin and Lando are piloting. Solo moves aside. So that's kind of cool that Basher made that decision to, even though Lando doesn't add anything to power as a pilot, Solo adds 3. That's a net gain of 1 for Lando. Bastion's going to use Rebel Leadership to add. Kessling's going to grab. Kessling got back Guri and accelerate our plans for the scum retrieval. Boskin Houndstooth adds to attrition. A lot going on in this battle. There's a lot to keep track of, and I'm in an in-person game. I wonder how much of it would be forgotten. Whoa. Timeout. Oh, geez. So a few things. Maybe I'll get to the end of the battle. 1 minute, Jerry Lack. You have a couple of comments there I want to touch upon. All right, so Solo's forfeit goes to 0 because of Ponda Baba V, who, despite the recent errata, still does that. He doesn't add +2 to the attrition destiny anymore. He used to do that for a long time, which would then kind of force people to really be ready for that. Oh, a second Ghana Gmort. That's interesting. So he's a 3, and he draws the Boba. Maybe a second Boba, or does he still have another one in his hand? Or did he retrieve it at some point? That's interesting. All right, so he draws a total of 6. He doesn't have a force projection to burn, so I'm guessing like Lando dies here. Obviously, Bastion has plenty of ability to get around Zuckus. Looks like there was some delay there, so maybe there's a potential action for a Bastion there against the 3. He already used the force projection, right? He draws a 5. Solo's forfeit 0, not Lando. I don't think Lando's a smuggler. He's just a scoundrel. Yeah. No. Bastion draws a 5, a 3, and a 5. So you got the 1 extra from Lando, 1 extra from leadership. So that's 13. Looks like... Oh, and Bastion does the redraw. I should have sniffed that out. Alright, so that doesn't go through then. And then Bastion's just going to lose 1 character. Looks like... is he going to have to lose 3 people here? Yeah, I think so. Greedo soaks up 6. And he needs to do 6 more, or 7 more. So yeah, it's going to be 2 more characters. So just enough for Bastion to force 3 characters to go lost. Oh, yeah. Then what? Oh, the Bosk added the attrition. Okay, so he could have gotten conceivably 2 to attrition, but he didn't. So Draylak, the boxes for the OCS for European players, I have them all bundled up. I'm about to send them over to Chris Menzel, and he'll distribute them at the Rail Tier Regional. If people aren't able to attend that, I'm sure he'll get it. Him or Martin Den both will ship it directly to people in Europe, but ideally he gives it out to people there just to save on shipping and time to prepare packages and that type of thing, shipping cost. If you have 2 Ahsokas, so we're completely out of it. I have no more Ahsokas. Both times it ran out first. I would, maybe try to trade it with somebody. Obviously don't sell it to anybody. Please don't exchange it with me just because you have to send it back. You don't want to do that. Just trade it with someone else in Europe would be my suggestion. Maybe someone else who wanted it. Actually, Lyndon Pater might want one. So maybe reach out to him, but he's in the UK, so you have to ship it kind of across the pond there. All right, so Lando dies, Lady Proxima dies, Ponda Baba dies. So there's only 1 more character up in space for Darkseid, and 4 ships. And Kessling draws. So now if he's got 14 down, Bastion's got 15, Kessling's got a few more cards in hand. A lot of retrieval still possible. I wonder if this game will go to time. We're about 63 minutes in real life time. But their game clocks, they start at 45, so what, they're about 27, 28. So yeah, the game clocks aren't down that much. There's like that gap in real life time versus game time timers. Yeah, maybe trade it with one of the German players, Draylak, who might not have it. Yeah, the Ahsoka is probably the most well-liked. Radis started out as probably the second, but now I think that's switched to Kylo. Kylo's the one I only have like 2 more left. Another Greedo. Better not attack them. What's Bastion saying here? Alright, so Bastion get the drain of 2 through. There goes that bridge that never seemed to come out, so that kind of had Kessling kind of force choked like all game. Kessling's going to, obviously, again, use Ghana Gimor to cancel. Stunning Leader gets tossed from hand. Yeah. Interesting comment there from Berm. Yeah, does Dark want to send Zuckuss to Octo to threaten a drain at like the hut, or the saddle rather, for 2? AKA Santorini here with our Volcano in the middle. Alright, BB-8 gets retrieved, second BB-8. All wings got placed out of play. BB-8 comes back using raise text. Yeah, so that's interesting, but Zuckuss can't reach it, so it's going to be 2 turns, 3 turns, I guess. So Kessling's turn 9, he'll move to Jakku. Turn 10, he'll move to Octo. Turn 11, he'll land. Am I doing that right? Yeah. Unitad to get the sword out the mess. So that means that Kessling's going to have a hard time. I mean, Bastion at this point, he probably has it to trap. There's just like this whole thing with like inertia with Legend. A lot of decks, like, they just start finding all their stuff. They have all their tricks, and it's kind of tough to break through. The good and bad thing about the open game, I remember talking with Drew about like a matchup with no idea once, and it's like you make one misstep. I should say, sometimes one misstep can set you back that you're just never going to get fully caught up. As we have a revert here, Unita not played. Looked like that was accepted without any conversation, so... Or, he just play the Unita again. I wonder what happened. Maybe just passed the phase or something. But, like, you know, it gets to a point if you don't kind of attack, kind of make some risk early game. If your opponent's able to kind of set up, fortify, find their tricks, kind of get math going in their favor of damage, it's really hard to flip the script sometimes. Making generalizations here sometimes, oftentimes. But yeah, the point stands that at this point, Bastion probably has a lot of the key cards he needs to at least win this. All right, so Bastion now moves solo to the pilot slot. Probably going to run away here to Jakku between Bosks, adding to attrition. Woof subtracting, although he still has the sand card. This might also be interesting because it might get to the point where Bastion could just keep running to make sure that Mike doesn't get any scum retrieval. And now Rose is out. Sorry, I missed that. Was that this turn? So now Rose and Ray are retrieving. So we might soon be getting to the point where Mike just says, you know, I'm going to cut my losses and draw up and not let you get a lot more momentum going here. Because now, yeah, he's, as Drew was saying, he's doing 1 damage, which is overcome by the 2 retrieval. And with a 6-card hand this late, given how many characters are like in Mike's lost pile, it's going to be tough for him to put together a crew to really disrupt what Bastion has set up on the ground. Just a reminder, so we're at 3:17, a few minutes. Looks like this might be a smooth cut over to Taco Bell doing game 2 here. I'll ask these guys, hopefully they don't mind if they end a little early, to wait for Bill just to get set up. Now Hutta... Boba Fett Bounty Hunter down to the Great Pit of Carcoon. Unita places Stone Leader out of play. Boba Fett Bounty Hunter comes down here. Remember, Bastion has Sorry About the Mess in his hand. So, I'm not sure exactly what Kessling's playing here. He does block, what is that, 2 damage basically from the... Well, the ping would still have... Well, it might not. If Kessling moves over and blocks the Space Drain, Bastion would then ping at the pit because he's got 2 resistance characters, but now he's blocking that, so he's saving 2 damage here, but he's also deploying cards to sit in front. And now he's going to move Shizor over. I don't know if James is in the chat, but Bill will definitely be doing game 2. It'll be auto-hosted to the PC channel. So here, SWCCG PC from Twitch. It'll also be cast live from Bill's channel, which is from Basil. So I'll take that from Basil. I'm personally, as we see the ships move over, I won't even let me chat. I gotta log in. Oh, that's annoying. All right, well, from Basil. It's phonetic. F-R-I-M-B-A-Z-E-L. But one of the questions I have... Whoops. Oh boy. Close. I lost the chat. Refresh chat. Alright, they got the chat back. Sorry about that. Alright, so he moves everybody over. Boba Fett plays his maintenance. I don't know if you go directly to... If you just watch on the auto host, if you can still participate with Bill and the streamer in the chat or not. I think it works. But I don't know if you can only do the chat via the source stream. Alright, Bastion activates a couple, saves a bunch in reserve. Plays the handle to add to the drain. Yeah, so and he's going to mess somebody, probably Boba, right? Because he's the most power. And he's going to battle with Leia, retrieve. Bastion's going to get some more cards back here. Yeah, probably Boba, right? With the sorry about the mess. But yeah, I wonder if Bastion can push this to like upper teens. He's going to probably throw away a couple cards from hand to the Jakku drain. I mean, is there any chance he just leaves his characters? No, probably not, because then he allows for the scum retrieval. So he's definitely going to run away in space, right? Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe just suicides in space, kind of, to an extent. Ponbab is gone, so he would keep Solo's forfeit. Maybe just kind of that Falcon's a ton of forfeit there. 14, 20, what is that, 22 forfeit? So he could battle, in worst case scenario, just survive with Leia, or not Leia, Leia's resistance transport, and hold on, just keep running back and forth. But at the same time, Kessling could kind of split his ships up and kind of hold both. So I don't know if that's really the best idea. He's probably just going to run away. This is where the Joker King tech of I've lost R2 is neat in court, because then they lose their navigation computer and they can't use hyperspeed. Alright, so Boba Fett goes lost. Rose then retrieves to start at the mess. Wipe for a force for Mike. Rey is now going to retrieve. This is going to get Bastion up to 19. He could be even more if he's going to battle. He's got the swing with the lightsaber. Yeah, Mike would have... This is going to be a lot of retrieval this turn for Bastion, and it's not really going to get any better, I don't think, for Mike. So he probably should have drawn up last turn to play Monday morning quarterback. Mike's life force is at 10, 4 in hand. Bastion's at 18 down, 3 in hand. Bastion really working that lost pile down. He does have 7 cards out of play, though. It's a lot of interrupts. Whoops. Why won't this go away? There we go. Yeah, he's at the battle on the ground. He'll probably just swing at Shizor. And then Duro will die to immunity. Can't imagine there's any real tricks here. Well, there's Greedo. That's one trick. So yeah, so maybe one of Mike's characters is going to survive here. Nestler combo to cancel the react. Not sure why I played Duro instead of him, giving you... God, sorry about the mess back. Alright, so no Greedo. Shizor's going to get hit here. I can't imagine the Bastion's not going to draw at least a 4. There's that It's a Trap that keeps getting drawn. Not sure if Bastion's running 2, but not usually a bad idea in Legend to have 2 of those. It's a pretty good card for a deck that doesn't have a ton of personas on the ground. Fighting personas, I'd say. Alright, so easily hit with the BB-8. Yeah, so Mike said, I'm not sure why I played Duro instead of Greedo, given you got started with the mess. Doesn't matter, choose cancel this text. Yeah, so even if Greedo, because Greedo's text is start with the mess, has to cancel him. Which Mike is saying that would have protected Boba, but it wouldn't have. Like, Cad Bane would add power to Greedo to make him safe from Chewie, but Cad Bane, of course, is long gone. So yes, wow, now Bastion's already up to 21. Because he played Nestlor, so that allowed him to cycle it, oh boy. So this kind of got off the rails. This was more looking like more like 15. If he drew up last turn, I probably should have kind of made a mental note of, if Mike draws up now, what's the likely diff? Assuming Bastion might have had like a use interrupt in his hand or something, but it seems like Bastion's squeezing at least another, 4, 5 life force out by this turn 9 playing out completely. Oh, now he gets another card. Is that a used interrupt? Yeah, you got the... Are you looking for me? So he's going to play that. To cycle that. This is This is getting wild. Now 1422 Bastion's at. Lando for Destiny. And there's a 5. So that'll probably be Chewy, right? I think Chewy did his job here. Yep, Chewy goes. And now the dynamic trio of BB-8, Rose, and General Leia, even though BB-8's not turned on. The whole crew back together again at the pit. All right, so I'm going to have to jet pretty quickly here, but this looks like it's about done. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Obviously, I'll see it out to the end here, and then, like we said, Taco Bell's going to be taking over, but thanks for everyone for interacting. This is a good game, very interactive chat. Remember to keep following SWCCG on Twitter to stay informed of the rest of the OCS playoffs and for all other of the exciting stuff going on in the game. Yeah, you're welcome, Shaw. Greg, congratulations, Greg, on moving on to top 8 this morning. Well, 9 a.m. Star Wars CCG action. Mike activates 10. Probably going to draw up here, right? I don't think this is going to get any better for him. Yeah, so he's drawing. Let's see if Bastion has a use interrupt in that 3-card hand or not. Got a GG from Bastion. And I think if Bastion had one, he'd probably play it by now, but unless he wants to live really dangerously and risk possibly forgetting. So no use interrupt in Bastion's hand. Kessling loses game 1 by 21, and barely any cards in Bastion's lost pile. So 21, not unable to be overcome. So again, thanks for tuning in. Good luck to both players in game 2. Everyone, take care.